Welcome to the Tabletop Mentorship Program Speaker Series.
This is our last video of this series, and we're so excited. It's going to be a really exciting one. My name is Grace Kendall.
I'm Mike Belsel.
And we're some of the organizers, the only organizers at the moment of the Tabletop Mentorship Program. I don't know why I said some of. But we are really excited to be closing out this speaker series with a really exciting video topic, board game photography.
Absolutely, yeah. This is going to be awesome. And we just want to make sure that before we get started, we want to thank our sponsors, everyone who makes this series possible. That would be Tim Fowers from Tabletop Network, Jeff Engelstein from New Voices in Gaming, and all of our patrons on Patreon, especially Curtis Fry, Angela Belsel, and our newest patron, Eric Reese. Thank you so much. Super appreciate all your guys' support. So
today, we have a wonderful special guest, Luna from Aspie Gamer Girl. Let's bring her on.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for inviting me.
It's so wonderful to have you here. When we were trying to think of a person for board game photography, you sprang to the top of our list. Your stop motion stuff especially is so cool. So not only is your photography great, but you're doing so many interesting things with photography in our community.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it has been really exciting to start working with board game photography. It's something I used to be a photographer like years ago, and for circumstances I stopped. So it has been nice to come back to photography and more like something that I never even thought about it. Like, you know, like you don't even actually think like there is something like board game photography. So it has been really interesting and nice.
absolutely, absolutely. And to that point, for anyone who's in our mentorship Discord, follow along. Make sure you've got a camera, a light, because with this presentation, we're going to be taking photos and putting them on the stream. You can see we've got our very professional ring light set up right here. I'm going to be taking pictures of King Domino.
Oh, nice.
You're a penguin to test my photo skills with.
Yep.
And if you're not in our program but are hanging out and enjoying the stream with us, you can also tweet photos at us at Tabletop Mentor on Twitter.
Yes.
And we can share them that way because YouTube chat doesn't let us put photos in. But we want to see everybody's exciting photos. At the end of Luna's presentation, we will also have a Q&A, so you can ask all your questions. And I think that's all I've got.
Yeah, I think we're all ready to get started. So Luna, we're going to hand it over to you for your presentation, and then we'll be back for the Q&A.
Okay, so I'm gonna fully introduce myself. Like, as you know, I'm Luna. I started Aspie Gamer Girl last year in June to share bilingual content, both in English and Spanish, of board games, and also talk about neurodiversity. Right now, I'm just starting to talk about neurodiversity. I haven't done it before. And currently, I'm just focusing on photography and stop motion, and I stopped doing any other type of content. So with that said, I'm going to show you my presentation so we can talk a little bit about board games photography. So, give me a sec, sorry. So I think that a lot of people, when they talk about photography, they think about like big equipment, like really expensive things, because they're really expensive. And like some people that want to do photography, that are on a budget, feel that they cannot have really good photographies if they don't have this really expensive equipment. And today I want to show you tricks to actually being able to take great photographies without like having any expensive lights or any expensive type of equipment. So the first thing I want to talk about is that I'm not going to tell you like the basics of photography or how to use the camera settings or like what type of equipment to get or lenses and things like that, because I think that is really easy for you just to Google and like to have like that information is there really easy. So I think that is better if this space is more like a practice space and a learning experience. So as I told you, I'm going to talk a little bit about budget photography, how to use light, both artificial and natural light, a little bit of composition and Q&A, and the workshop itself. So the first thing is like, I usually use my camera like this, but you don't have to. I know that a lot of people use smartphones, and now smartphones have really good cameras. So what I will advise you, if you really want to get into photography and you only have your smartphone, have an app. There are like multiple apps that allows you to control a little bit of the camera settings. And this is important because when you are taking a photo with your phone, you see that maybe you want a shadow or something, but you take the photo and then everything kind of gets like plain. And it's because the camera on your phone is designed to get as much details and light as they can. So you cannot be as an artistic or experimental as you want. But if you download one of these applications, they cost between like $5 to $15, and they give you different settings for you to do white balance, the aperture, and other things that they're really easy to manage on those applications. And they also sell lens for cameras, for phones, sorry. And those allows you to have like a better image in some ways. It's not gonna be, of course, as the same as a professional camera, but they can help you and more to start with. And another thing I wanted to talk about, it was the light. So I really like these lights. They are Colombian Cube. I'm gonna show you right now. I have the little kit. And I think this is really good because it's really versatile, and they are so tiny, and they are perfect for board games because as they are so small, of course, you cannot like light a big space. But when talking about board games, I think these are really good for it. And they have like different accessories that let you experiment with like the light, the colors, and so on. So I think these are a good option. They have like different type of lights. They also have these square ones, rectangle ones, sorry. And they can help you to have like a better lighting. But if you cannot get these lights, it's okay. You can still use natural light, which I love. And you can also use like lanterns or like the phone of you, the lantern on your phone and stuff. You can just experiment with any type of light, like even candles. So I think like something really amazing in photography is that allows you to experiment a lot. And for instance, all these photos that you have seen until now, like this one, these two, all have been with natural light, because I really like how the sun can give you so beautiful like little like shadows and things that like itself looks natural because it's the type of light that we are used all the time. So I really enjoyed that. But we can also get like images like this that you want like different colors or like change the atmosphere. So here you can see that I use like a really tiny green light just to give a type of context, and also in this one. But it's up to you what you want to do and create. And I think the nice thing of this is that you can use this type of lights, and then you could either use like a cell phone, I forgot the name of that paper. Cell phone paper, I think it is that transparent paper that it works like gels. So you can also change lights, the colors of the lights. Or I also sometimes use these Lego bricks that they have lights. They don't illuminate that much, but I use them, for instance, for this photography over here, to give like a different atmosphere. So I think that you can just experiment with those things, and it will really help you. And you can see that you won't need like a really big set of lights or expensive lights to actually accomplish something beautiful. Another thing that we use a lot in photography is reflectors and diffusers of light, because we want like the light not to be that hard, so the shadows are not hard, and so on. And those are also like equipment that costs money, but you actually can only use paper. Like if you have a black sheet of paper and a white sheet of paper, that will work, or also foil. So you can just have like those sheets together and the foil, and that is going to be your like kit, and have it together. And like it's perfect, as I said, because as board games can be small, they are going to cover most of the image that you want to take. So it will be enough to have just like a small size of paper to be able to do that. Something else that I wanted to talk a little bit about is how to use different things that you can find in your home to be able to stand your cards, for instance, or like level up different components of the game. So for instance, on this photo Beyond the Zone, the dice are on a piece of glass. So I just have like a glass, I put it there, and then you can experiment to level things up like that. Or you can use clay, and like the good thing of clay is like you can reuse it multiple times to, for instance, stand your cards and so on. I know that this sounds like a lot of things that I'm talking right now, but in a minute, I will show you how to actually put them in practice. I just think I like things like that, or even like Lego bricks I use to when I want to put like different cards in different levels. So the Lego bricks are perfect for that, because you can change the size of how high or how short you want things. And the last thing, like really fast, that I wanted to tell you is like something that a lot of people ask me is how I avoid glare on the pictures and more on the cards. So glare is basically in most of the pictures when people use the light from their houses, because the light of the house is above you. So it will affect the image that you are going to photograph. So my advice, and I will show you here an example, is like use side lights. So and turn off the light on your room to avoid those glares. And also the angle of the camera affects too, because as I'm going to show you that too, as you are going to start moving the camera, the light is going to also change, because you are going to be capturing the light in a different angle. So that also affects that. And the last thing I wanted to show you is that these tripods, because like sometimes I take some photos, I actually didn't put an example here, I should have, that you have, you want, for instance, the dice to show rolling or something falling. So how you do those photos is that you take a picture of the frame that you want, and then you take a picture of the elements, and then in addition you remove like the thread or the clay or the clay or whatever that is like holding that piece. So you will need a tripod to make sure that the two frames like match exactly the same in order to have a beautiful picture. And these two ones I really like. This one, I use this one is for the lights more, because you can wrap them around anything. So you don't have to have like a really big set or anything, and you can just grab it around the chair or around like another light or whatever you have around. And this one is a little bit more stable for a smartphone, not for a camera itself. But I think these things will help you a lot if you are trying to do budget, or like have a budget when doing photography. And something else is like you want to add sometimes some context on the pictures, and sometimes you don't want to. And when doing that, you really need to think about like the space that you are at and what do you want to show. Like, for instance, in this pizza place, I wanted to show like if it was a pizza board, even though it was just a table. So to avoid to show that it's a table, you just frame in a way that is removing the context. But then in another picture like this one, for instance, I'm adding the stones and the light to add some context. So you want to know before you take the picture what do you want to add? Like, do you want the light like to be on the back so you see that it's on a table, or do you want it like to be like the pieces are like disappearing in the like grass, or like exactly what do you want to accomplish with this picture? So you know you have to take care of the context that is on that room, or you just focus in a smaller space. And something that helps a lot for that is different backdrops. So backdrops are kind of like piece of sheets of different materials. They can be like as cheap as $15, as expensive like $500, and they will give you different type of textures. Like it's the same texture, but in the image it will simulate different type of woods or different type of concrete or things like that, to make maybe your image more interesting, or to make it that not all your photos look like they are taken in the same table, even though you may be using the same table. So I think the backdrops are really useful for that. And yeah, basically that's what I wanted to tell you a little bit before we started the workshop. I don't know if we have any questions or anything. I guess I'm gonna continue. So let's change a little bit here. I'm gonna show you the table and we can start here. Let me stop this. Okay, so here we are gonna take some pictures. And if you have any questions, please let me know. So I'm gonna start with pictures of tapestry. You can pick any game. First game I picked, it was because tapestry has so many little components that we can play with them. And then afterwards, I will show you like cards and how to avoid that glare that I was talking, and that actually a lot of people have asked me how to avoid that glare. So as I told you, I like to use things that are around the house to show you that like you don't need expensive set. So what I want is I'm gonna put this on top. And for that context that I was telling you, we can use things around the house, or you can use the box itself. So for this one, I'm gonna use the box of tapestry. So my goal is to show a little bit of the buildings, how they show, and the box as background, but the box is blurry. I don't care about the details, it's more for the colors. So let me plug my camera so you can see what I'm doing. And it's really important, as I said, to turn off your light. So I'm gonna do that right now to avoid glares or light or colors that you don't want. So give me a second. So you are basically going to be able to see everything on my camera while I share it with you. So for this photo, I'm gonna try to use natural light. I have a window next to me. So I'm gonna see how it works with natural light. If I don't like it, then we can add some artificial light. So let me share this so we can start. Okay. So another thing that you want to know when you are doing this type of photos is like, you can avoid things. Like, of course, this part is just to put it a little bit higher so I can get this part of the box instead of like this side like Jamie. Like, because I don't want those words, I want more like the colors and the lighting of the box to kind of simulate lighting on the picture. So that is my goal. So let's put it like that. And then, of course, I'm gonna avoid to show this part. So I'm gonna try to frame it in a way that shows both. So let's see how that goes. I'm not sure if you're seeing right now. Okay. So you are not seeing the photo, so let me fix that. I think I have to manually show you every photo, which is okay. So here, when I took the photo, I didn't look for a camera settings in terms of like white balance. So that's why the color looked bluish. And that is like an example of what I was telling you, that is nice to have the camera balance when you are working with an app on your smartphone, because otherwise the camera itself is just going to adjust what they see. But probably that is not what you want. I don't want this photo to be blue. I kind of want it more like yellowish, like because of the background, as I want to simulate like natural light. So for that, you have to change the settings, and that is the advantage of being able to have a manual setting either in your smartphone or in your camera. So let me change that part. So I have to do it manually, sorry about that. So actually, I'm gonna show you how the white balance can affect things. So sharing, and I'm I am so sorry, I pressed the wrong thing instead of sharing. Okay. So here you will be able to see my camera all the time. See? Okay. So it's going to be a little bit harder for me, but we will figure it out because I cannot now see from here. Okay, so let me show you the color temperature, how it changed and why it's so important. So the color temperature will totally change your image and how it feels. So here are just examples. I will stop sharing this. It's just for you to see why it's so important and how it can change. So for instance, I like the best this one. So I think I'm gonna go with this one. So I'm gonna close this. I'm gonna take the picture again and show it to you. Oh, I didn't share the picture, okay. Okay, there you go. Oh no. I'm sorry. I changed, the white balance was on the computer but not on my camera, so I got the same. Just a moment. Oh, just give me a second, sorry. Okay, now there you go. Okay, so this is better. So let me show you now. Sorry about that. I'm struggling a little bit with the sharing the photos. Okay, so here is the photo. We can change a little bit of the light in post-production. I like the photos to be like ready when I take the camera, so I probably are going to use some artificial light because the light is going down here. But you see how I use the background of the photo. I kind of like it maybe a little bit moved because the tapestry on the background is taking too much information and is not giving information to the photo. And when taking your photos, you also want to see what do you want to focus. So my focus right now is on this middle building, but actually I feel that is too close to this one. So this is when you start playing with things and realizing what do you want and what you don't like on your pictures. So I am gonna change a little bit of what I am doing on the table. And if you are taking photos, I would love to see them. So let me show you. So let's move a little bit. When I take the picture, sometimes I try to be like how the game actually works. But sometimes, because like for instance here, I have all the buildings in spaces that you are not supposed to place to put buildings on. But then on the composition, it doesn't look that great. So I'm gonna start like no following the rules of the game and just placing the buildings accordingly to how it looks better on the picture. And I think that is also important to know. Sometimes people like I take pictures, I'm like, but that is not how you play the game. I'm like, yeah, it's more like a creative picture. So it really depends on what you want. If you want a creative picture or if you want a picture that follows the game, which is okay. Just like find the way how you can show what you want. Andres, right now, I don't know, like I know about those apps because I know people that use them, but if you want, I can research and like ask them which are the best options that they have. And I can tell you later on which application for the phone works the best. I tried to look them before the stream, but what happened is that of course you have to pay for each, so I wasn't sure which one was the best. But if you give me like, I don't know, a way that I can contact you later, I will definitely tell you which application will be the best for you to use on your smartphone. Okay, so we are going to start moving these ones. Maybe this a little bit. And I feel like something of photography and more on board game photography is just play. Like, you know, like the game is a game, but like the part of the photography should be a game too. And I think this is like the really fun part of it, because it's kind of a puzzle. Like as I told you before, I adjust the buildings according how you place them on the game, but that didn't work totally on the photo for me to be satisfied with the results. So you just start playing with them, start playing with like the different colors, different textures, what they give you to get the results that you want. I'm gonna do one more try of this one, and if it doesn't work, I will move on to show you a little bit of glare on how to avoid the glare on the cards, because I think that is like one of the main questions that I always get. And I want to use actually this side of the board. Okay, and I'm gonna try to put an extra light too. And something good about these lights too that I really like is that when you are not sure where to place the light, you can just play with it, you know, and start looking how the shadows work. And that is really helpful, and more when you are not sure how light works, or is something that you usually don't pay attention to. And the also cool thing about these lights is that you can lower the intensity of the light, so it won't mess with your shot, or is not gonna give you really hard shadows if that is not what you want. So I kind of like it over here, I think. Yeah, I really like it on the side. So let's place this on the side. And let's try to do this one more time. So when it's like angled like this, it's a little, not totally, but a little simulation of like how the sun works. So I like that because I really like natural light. I think I'm gonna remove this building actually, or I'm gonna replace this one because there is some really nice things on the back going on, and I'd rather that come into the frame. You know what? Sorry. Just when you start seeing it on the camera, it changes so much, everything. So I'm just gonna move this around here. Yeah, I like this better. So let me see. Here is the photo. So here, I think the composition is better because this building is not in the middle anymore. And there is like basics of photography that they say that usually you should always place your focus in a third of the frame. Sometimes that doesn't apply, but I think in this example applies really well. I think that in that position is really nice. And you can see a little bit of the background, like there is a house. So I feel like it gives more that ambience to be a town. So I actually am really happy with this photo. So let's move on to a little bit of showing you how to do cards and avoid glare on the cards. So I'm going to show you first how you get glare, and then I'm going to show you how not to get it. So give me a second. If you have any questions in the meantime that I set up the cards, let me know, and I will be happy to answer you, helping you. I have the cards ready here. Okay. I'm gonna use the cards of Tapestry as well, but later I have a couple of other games here in case that you want to see it with other games as well. So for this one, these cards are quite big and large. So what I want is just to show a little bit of the art because the art of each one is pretty unique, but I don't want to show the whole thing because this part of text is quite big, and I think that for the photo, it will be nicer just to have the art itself. So what I'm gonna try to do is like, with the cards, try to overlap them in a way that you can just see the art instead of seeing the text. So first, I'm gonna turn on the light to show you again those colors that everyone talks about it and try to avoid. So the reason is because the light is coming from above. So it's totally like kind of like trying to reflect on the cards. So that's why you get those colors. So that's why you want to avoid like the light on top, but I'm gonna just do it for once. So let's see. I think the Lego bricks are perfect for this example because it can give me different sides and you just accommodate the cards as you want. And here, when you are accommodating the games is when you have to ask yourself, like, do I want to show the table? What is my goal with this picture kind of thing? So you are not just like shooting and moving, but more like you have like a mental idea of what your goal is. And maybe the photo is not gonna look like what you wanted, but it's going to give the idea that you wanted. And I think that is important because it's really hard to get like the photo exactly what you wanted because there are like a lot of factors coming into place that we didn't consider when thinking about it. So I'm gonna place this one. And when placing the cards to show different art, I like to give a little bit of contrast between the colors. So for instance, the back one, I cannot show you now, but is gray, and this is a little bit like more earth tones. So my contrast is going to be this more like, what is this? Reddish, brownish thing. So when you give like more contrast, more contrast between images, it also helps you. Okay, so just be careful when placing your things, because this happens a lot to me, and more when I use Lego, that you see here, the bricks are too small and the card is too long, too big. And then when I'm trying to move another card, I will like step or like everything will fail. So that is something to keep an eye on for. And I don't know, I think I would not put this one. Let's try with those three. So the first picture is going to be with the glare for you to see. So let me. Actually, I am going to change these ones from order here so you can see more of the art. And this one here. Okay, so this photo I'm about to show you, I didn't change the settings or anything on the camera because it was just like to show you the glare. So let me show you. So I think you can see here and here that the image is kind of like, it feels like kind of flat, like if I was taking the photo with like the manual settings on the phone, sorry. So we want to like bring up all the details in the cards. Even if the card is plain, the art has so many details that with lighting, you can bring those things up. So let's try to do that. And I think, like, to be honest, I think cards are one of the hardest things to photograph when talking about board games, because as they are flat and it's the same shape, sometimes it works because you put it like if it was a puzzle next to each other, but sometimes when it has a big text, it doesn't look that great, and then the glare and all of that, and to make them stand is also hard. And for the standing, I recommend clay because the Lego bricks won't always hold, as you see. So use clay for that, it will be better. Okay, so, and I'm gonna actually remove the natural light too. So I'm gonna close this. I think it didn't make a lot of difference, but here we go. So here I'm just gonna play, and I'm just gonna play, for instance, with the Lego lights that I showed you, because I want to see how the colors may affect and all of that. So that is the other thing that I like. I don't know why I put this down, sorry. That I like when using Lego bricks on the bottom is that then I know that I will have enough space to place the Lego bricks that come with lights, and those can change. So as the color on the previous person, I'm gonna show you this one. It's kind of gray and blue. I'm gonna put like more blue on it, but I'm gonna move it a little bit so it's not that strong, because I just want the hint I don't want it like to take over that picture. And then on the other side, I'm gonna use a little bit of yellow. I don't know if this is gonna work. I'm just playing around. So it's important like to always see the perspective that you are actually taking the picture of, because like I already placed this blue light and I like it. But then when I go up, actually it will show on the frame because it's outside. So always be careful and try to be like vigilant of all those things that you may not be aware of looking at because you are sitting or looking at the frame, knowing the way that you want to take it, but how you are placing the things. So now we want a side one like this. My focus right now is the bottom photo. So I'm gonna put the light on this side and more because this photo, this card over here has a lot of shadows and I wanted to keep it like that way. And the bottom one has a lot of like life and light and I want to also to keep it that way. So I'm gonna place the light over here and let's see what happens. So then when I told you like when you are like placing the things and you're not looking at the frame, like this card was over the other one and so on. So there are like details that you are always have to pay attention. And I think it's easier sometimes to do it with the camera with you or your phone, because then you can actually see the frame that you are working towards to get at. So I'm gonna retake that photo before I show it to you. Okay, let's see. Okay, so here is the photo. I'm not totally happy with it, but it's really hard to be paying attention to you guys and the settings and everything at the same time. So for instance, I think that the back doesn't have enough light. You can see that on this edge, it has a little bit of blue light, which I like. And this side, it has a little bit of yellow light, which I like too. So I like that part. But I don't like how dark this is and how bright these two are. And more because this one, already the art of the card is dark. So I wanted to be like, to pronounce that darkness on the shadows and that light here. So I will change a little bit the light for that. But I'm really pleased with the frame. I think that I really enjoy how this V thing is happening. I was not planning to do that, but it's like a V here that I think is quite lovely, and more because of the arm of this person. So that is the fun thing also with board games and more with cards, that every card has the different art that can help you to put them together and to mix the colors and the shapes and so on. Andres says the old man seems to be scheming from the shadows, and yeah, actually that is true, and that is what you can do with with all the light, like create your own stories on the photo. And that's what I really enjoy of like photography itself, and like with board games too. So I'm gonna actually remove this light from here, and I'm gonna put it on the bottom to make sure this guy, our main character, I will call it, gets a lot of light because I don't like it that dark. And I will push a little bit the blue light closer because I really like it. So I want more of that hint, and I will do the same with the yellow one. Okay. And I'm gonna move a little bit this one because even though I like the frame and the bee, I feel that there was a lot of text showing from the bottom card, which I didn't enjoy that part. So I'm also pulling back that. This always happens. Okay, there you go. And then I'm gonna put a second light actually. Where is it? I have it as only here. I'm gonna try a second light because this light here is just illuminating the bottom one. Sorry, I keep standing up. But these ones will be too dark, I think. So I want them to be dark, but not that dark. So even though I like a lot these lights that I told you, like they're called Lume Cube, the only thing to be aware of them in case that you are planning maybe to get them is that they don't last that long. They only last for like an hour. So they are versatile and everything, but they're just like for the moment, you know, you cannot totally depend on them. Okay, so I actually think I make it like here. Yeah. Okay, opa. Okay, let's try this one. I feel happy with what I see so far. So, oh, wait a minute. This one now is creating a strong shadow on the bottom. So I'm not gonna do that. So again, what I told you, like when you change the perspective of when you are looking at, changes everything. Okay, I don't have a space on the table to place them. So I am just gonna do it manually because I don't have enough space. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna frame it, I'm gonna focus it, and then I'm gonna move the light around on my hand to make sure I get the frame that I want. No, I think it was not a good idea to do that. Now we have this crumping. So right now my problem is that I have really good illumination on this bottom one. That is the most important one, but these ones are not getting enough light. And I don't have a space on the table. So actually think about that. Like I picked this table because it was the easier one for showing to you guys. But now I'm having trouble because there is not enough space on the table for me to have both lights on. So let's see what happens. Okay, I think this is a blur version of it, but it's creating a shadow that I still don't like. And it's because I cannot properly place that light and I have to do it while taking the photo, which makes it harder. So I like better the previous frame. I don't know if you noticed the difference, but the difference is that this part entered into the frame. The previous one was not there. But I like the bottom lights. I really enjoyed those. I am just having issues with the shadow. So you see this strong light is a shadow generated by this one. So, but I'm actually going to move on and not stay on this. I will try this photo again, and then I will post it on Instagram for you to see. I'm not gonna do it right now because I don't have enough space on this table to place the other light that I need. So it will make it really hard for me to keep trying to hold the light and do the frame at the same time to show you. But I will promise to post this picture on Instagram when I have it ready. Plus, I really like the lights and how they were playing on the frame. So I'm definitely gonna try to do that one. Okay, I don't know if you guys have been taking pictures for you to show me.
Who did?
Hey, Luna.
Okay.
That was awesome. That was so fun.
Thank you. I wasn't sure.
No, it was great. I love that behind the scenes, aspect, and then showing the final frame. And it's like, how did that make from that? It looks so good. It's so awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. And we definitely did get some pictures. Grace and I had been making our own attempts to take some pictures during it, and then we got some of our mentorship members to send in some stuff. So is it cool if we start sharing that?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay,
and
cool.
Then later on this week, I will share this picture properly how I will like it to be.
Yeah, that'd be really awesome. I'm very curious to see the final result. It was very interesting to see how you were adjusting and all that stuff, and kind of what you liked, what you didn't like, and it really, I think, valuable to see that the progress of a really good picture.
Thank you. Yeah, I think like something that it was really hard, and I advise you when you are focusing is because I was looking at the computer a lot. I couldn't see the frame that I was taking. So I was accommodating the things without looking at the final frame that I want. So whenever you want to take a picture, don't care about like, oh, it's not looking like here, because when you are taking, depending on the angle that you want, it can show or not show. So always try to know the angle that you want to accommodate the things according to that. It is easier to what just happened there.
Interesting. Very cool. Awesome. Okay, so let me share my screen here, and then I'm going to show first a couple of stuff that Grace and I did, and then we'll go on to the membership members. Okay, so this is one I took with Herbaceous.
Oh, nice. I really like to add the context of some pictures. I think that is really lovely. So while I will advise you in that a specific picture is as a lot of the leaves are kind of dying. Yeah. They take over a lot of the picture. So what you could do is just take a couple of like good leaves. I know I actually suffer when I cut like things from plants and everything, but for the purpose of the photo, you can then lay down the picture and accommodate the real leaves towards the image, so it looks like they're together.
Oh, cool. Oh, very neat. Awesome. Okay, so this was my second attempt with another Herbaceous card.
Yeah, those are really fun to try. Like I try with them a lot. And you see, this is why I really like natural light, is because you can see on the card like those glares are like things that just sun does. Like no matter how good your lighting is, those things are just like what the sun does, and it looks really beautiful, the lighting on the card, because it helps, like it kind of looks a little bit part of the plant. What it was not happening with the previous one, but that was more because of the status of how the plant is like currently than the lighting itself. But that is why I love natural light.
Cool. Yeah, I tried. You had mentioned in your workshop about context. What's the context around the pieces? So I tried to think about that. I did take some pictures with King Domino, which I showed in the beginning, and none of them were any good at all. So I switched it up really quickly. But okay, so then this is one that Grace took with You're a Penguin, and really thought about context here. I like the idea of this picture.
Oh, that is really cute. And with eyes, actually, it's really hard because there are some textures, like eyes, for instance, that as they are transparent reflector and they are like melting, is really hard, and more if you're using lights because the lights make heat. Like I was really hot while I was doing that, in case you didn't notice, because the lights make like a lot of heat. So it's really cool. Like I really like what you did here. So what you could do also is use color papers. So on the back you could put a little blue paper, but it's on the back, no, it's not on the bottom. So it will simulate the sky, So it will add more to that plain thingy that you are doing with the meeples. But I think it's really wonderful.
Oh, cool. That's great. Okay, this is shot number 2 with your penguin.
Exactly. So see, like this here, they have the blue, so the blue is reflecting on the table, so it's making like this effect of like a little bit of water. So actually a really cool idea, it will be mix those blue gems with the eyes, so the color will be full with all the eyes, so it will look like more realistic, but then those little gems will give like light and like a more context, or like a fun spin to the photo.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. Now we gotta go take more photos as soon as this is over. Okay, this next one is this is from one of our mentorship members. So this is his game composition that he took to try to get a really nice photo of it.
Yeah, that is really nice. I think like when taking photos with the box, I think maybe you should try to elevate a little bit the box to make like a shadow between the box and the cards to get more dynamic. But I think it's really good photo because there are not glares, like what we were talking, and that is like, sorry, that is one of the things. Excuse me. That is one of the things that you see the most, like when photographing cards and boxes, is like that glare that is not that nice. And I think they did a really good job on that. And I really like the color of the cards and how they mix it together. But like I will like put a little bit, elevate a little bit the box so they get like a little bit of shadow, because as you see right now, the box is kind of like feels like a little bit flatter. So I think maybe it will be better to do that, but still the photo is good. Like the lighting and the settings of the camera are really good.
Awesome.
The technical part, yeah.
Yeah, and I like, I don't know if everyone does this, is new to me, but I love that you use the Lego bricks to like build exactly what you needed. So clever. Yeah, I really like that.
Yeah, when I started doing this, it was really hard because like the equipment that I have, it was for big things. So I was like, I just need to move a card. I just need to move like a little component. How do I do that without like taking over the whole photo? Mm-hmm. So I started like looking around things at home. So yeah, I love the Lego bricks for that. And I love these Lego bricks with lights because they don't add like really a strong light that is going to take over the picture. They just take like little lines, little shadows that like give a little bit more to the picture. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, I love Lego.
Awesome. All right, and then this is one that we attempted, and this is cards. So we might get some clear feedback, I think, on this one.
What did you say? Sorry, at the end?
Oh, I think we might get some feedback about glare on this one.
Yeah. So I think like, well, those cards are fantastic. I think there are a lot of options and opportunity to this with this game, which actually I want to know which game it is because it looks really nice.
Yeah, so this is Spirits of the Wild.
Okay, it's really beautiful.
Awesome
it's
to play.
Really beautiful.
Yeah.
So yeah, like the glare can also happen with natural light, but it's mostly when you use a room light, like at least with me. But like when you are using natural light and it's happening, then you have two options. Either like try to move away from the source of light, that in a way you can still use the light for the camera, for the photo itself, but it's not gonna be that intense that you're gonna have glares. Or the other option is, instead of having flat cards, you can just like pile them together, or like things like that. And if you put them, like, let me show you really fast. If you get some clay, you put it there. This one is, there you go. And then you have so many another clay here. The glare is not gonna show as the same, and then you're gonna get like more levels, or like more dynamic on that photo.
Oh, super cool. Love that. All right. And then we have one from Johannes that replied to us on Twitter here. Let me pull that back up. There we go. Cool. All right. And here is his photo of his game. He's got a couple, actually.
He designed that game?
I believe so, yes.
Oh, that is so cool. That is great. Yeah, so I think like this is really good example for like the context of the game itself, because it's giving us they're leavening it with the different tiles, which is like really beautiful, because you have this really dark green, and then this middle green, and then this yellow, and when you put them together, they actually make a really lovely palette. What I will do when taking photos of, for instance, this game, is balance a little bit the components, because the flat game, I think, is totally balanced and the colors are really beautiful. But then you see that you have three, I don't know if he was taking a photo of how the game plays, and that is when it gets difficulties in terms of like composition, because you see that the red is all in one color. So even though the focus of the image actually is on the front with that little house, your eye goes right away to the part that is unfocused, because the red is too strong and is unbalanced with the rest of the photo. So you want to have, like, again, this is the issue when taking photos of how the game is played, because like if it's how you play it is the results, there is nothing that you do. That's why I kind of like cheat a little bit when I take the photos to make the colors more balanced. Or like so what he could do is place the red discs in different places. Mm-hmm. Or instead of placing the red disc, placing the blue ones and the red ones underneath the cards that he's using. In that way, you have that hint of red, which is like really beautiful, because it's a really big contrast on the palette of the whole game. But then it doesn't cap all the attention, because your eye is totally going to that red and you are not seeing the rest of the image. But like I think this is a really lovely example. But like the tiles, like I think that they are fantastic how he plays the tiles. It looks really beautiful on the photo.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, that was absolutely wonderful. I know I learned a whole ton. I hope everyone watching also did as well. And thank you for putting out those photos, everyone. Super brave of you. If anyone has any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. But we are just about at the end of the hour. Luna, let me ask, where can people find you?
Yeah, so my YouTube channel, like all my social media, is Aspie Gamer Girl. So you can find me on Twitter and YouTube. I think I'm the most active. And then on Instagram and Facebook, I try to post like most pictures and everything, but sometimes I don't have the time, to be honest. But I also have a TikTok account. I'm not super active on that TikTok account, but if you want to see how I'm working on the stop motions, I post them first on TikTok. Before they are done, I start placing like frames when I start like, clips of the stop motions before I finish them. So if you want a sneak peek of what I'm working on the stop motions, you can go on TikTok. But again, like I use it like when I'm working on a stop motion, and it takes a while. So it's not like a lot of content on TikTok. Yeah.
Well, that I now have to sign up for TikTok then, because I love the stop motion stuff.
Yeah, I just started with TikTok. So they asked me if I do. Yeah, I was about to ask that. So I personally really enjoy taking the photo and having the photo how it is. So I rarely use editing. What I do sometimes is a little bit of the curves, like to get a little bit more of contrast on the image, or sometimes it's like I really like the frame and I really like the picture, but I forgot to check the white balance, or the white balance is a little bit off, so the picture is a little bit bluish and I wanted more like yellowish. I changed that. But it's of like adding shadows or like removing things. I usually don't do that, except if we're talking about like those pictures that you take 2 pictures in order to be able to remove the threads or like the clay or something, to be able to have something in position. That in that case I will do it. But like I try as most not to do any post editing.
And for the stop motion stuff that you do you have to like edit out anything that you're using to position the people? So no.
That is why it takes me so long. So right now, like for instance, the hues and cues that I did, it was claymation, so I didn't have to do that. Only I did it was when the meeple was falling and when the switch of light was falling. So that I have to edit. But that was easy compared to, for instance, I don't know if you saw the one with mariposas, that it was all the butterflies on the forest. Each butterfly had wire and had clay. So each frame, I had to remove the clay and the wire of each butterfly. So yeah, stop motion is a lot of editing.
And how many frames do you think you had to edit, for the butterflies and stuff to remove that? Or ballpark number?
I don't know, like that video I think was 2 minutes, so at least maybe 800 to 1,000 photos.
Manually, no computer assistance or anything. Oh my God.
I don't know if there is computer assistance.
I don't know either.
If there is computer assistance, I really need it. So yeah, I'm really trying to figure out how to do. That's why I'm doing more clay stuff, because I avoid that. There is another episode coming for exploring new worlds. It's coming in a couple of months because I have to finish another project first. That one is going to take a lot of editing, but currently I'm working another one that is claymation. So far, I think that I will just have to edit like 30 to 50 frames, which is great. And then I'm working on another one that, if everything goes like how I have it in my mind, that usually doesn't work like that, I will have to edit. So I am hoping for that. Because actually the editing is the hardest part. Like taking the pictures, and it's hard, and like making sure everything is right. It takes time and everything. But editing all those pictures is what it takes so long for me.
Yeah. Wow. Well, the result is absolutely incredible. I really love it, and I think we're gonna stop there and just say thank you so much for that photography workshop. It was really, really wonderful. So inspired to take more and better photos and all that stuff. Absolutely. So I just want to thank our sponsors once again, Tim Fowers from Tabletop Network and Jeff Engelstein of New Voices in Gaming, and all the people on Patreon. And to let you know, this is the last speaker series video of this session, of this mentorship session. We'll start back up in, I think, June, I'm being told. We'll start back up in June, but the enrollment for the next session of the mentorship program opens on May 8th. So check our website for that. And if you want to sign up to be a mentor or a mentee, please do. Totally encourage you to do that. Awesome. Oh, also, we are right now hiring a host for this actual speaker series, because as you know, I am not the best host. I do an okay job, but we definitely need someone better. So please apply. That application's on our Twitter profile there. So once again, Luna, thank you so much for doing this and for closing out our series in such a wonderful and absolutely fun way. It was so delightful to have you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for giving me the space and choosing me to do this. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Absolutely our pleasure. And thank you everyone for watching. And we will see you next time. Take care, everyone.
Bye.